If you were to go back and watch all my videos on this channel, you would notice a couple of things. One, the space behind me has changed a number of times. I like to rearrange things. We've moved into different houses a few times. But another thing that's changed is the amount of clutter back behind me. Sometimes it gets a little messy in here. And I've noticed that I used to think the clutter doesn't bother me. And on the surface, it doesn't really. As long as I can get to the things I need to get to, the clutter will deal with it eventually. But it does take a mental toll, especially if it's something that I don't need to use. Like I pull out a piece of gear, I needed it for one situation, but then it sits here on my desk for a month and I keep moving it around because I don't need it, but I haven't decided to put it away. That's a little bit of what it's like to use a software like Studio Pro when there are features that you just don't need, but they're still there in front of you at all times. Studio Pro does a great job of allowing you to customize that experience so that you only see the things that you need, which I have discovered creates a bit of a calming presence, especially if you're new to the music production game. The thing about Studio Pro is it is a fully functional, deep DAW. It can do just about anything you would want to do when it comes to audio software, but you may not be ready to dive that deep and you want a more simple experience. There's lots of ways to customize Studio Pro. I want to talk you through a couple of new ways and a couple of old ways that maybe you didn't know about in this video. So let's take a look at this song. The new ways I want to show you, we'll do those first, and I'll show you a couple of like the greatest hits of customization. But if you I press F7 all the time. So F3 opens my mixer. F7 opens up my list of effects or my plugins. F6, I use a little bit less, opens up the instrument list. One of the things you might notice with version 8.1 is this is called the browser over here. This is where kind of everything you would want to access in terms of like software and a couple other things lives. The first thing is this homepage has been redesigned to make it a little simpler. So if you have not tested out Moises, which is brand new with this version, and you want to install that and see what that's all about, you can click here. It'll say install now if it's not installed. If you've never connected to your Fender Exchange or you've never connected to Splice and things like that, as we integrate with other software, all of that's going to show up here in the browser, and we want to do that in a way that's efficient. So one of the changes is we now have these icons to make things a little bit simpler, and you can customize how this looks. So if you, for example, you have never used Splice and you decide I might use it one day, but for now I don't necessarily need this here. Or maybe Moise is the same thing. You haven't installed it yet. That's not on your list of things to do just yet. You can come in and you can customize what shows up here. So this window might look familiar to you already. This is the customization window we introduced a few versions back. It is incredibly helpful. So in terms of this browser, as you can see, there's multiple tabs here: toolbar, inspector, track controls, transport, browser. But as far as the browser, which is this thing over here on the right, we can change what things show up here. So let's say I want to go super minimalistic. I don't need to see things in the cloud or files or Moises or Splice or loops. I just need to see instruments, effects, and then the pool, which is just whatever audio is associated with this particular song. There we go. This already feels a lot cleaner. Now, if ever we want to access those further, we can just right-click, choose Customize, and go back to it. We can also have it just show icons, or we can have it show the name in case we're not sure what they are, but that makes it a lot cleaner. So that's one of the things. Let me reset this order here. Actually, let me show you this. Let's hit reset order. And that doesn't. Let me go back to customize. Let's bring everything back for now. Okay, cool. It's all there. One of the other things you'll notice now, depending on the size of this window, the bigger you make it, the more space there will be for each of these icons. But if you go kind of small, you want to save some space and bring it down, they'll collapse to a certain point, and then it will just give you a menu. So you can say, oh, I need to get to the cloud. I don't see it. There it is. You can also change the order here, put the more important ones to the left and the ones you don't use as much to the right. A lot of customization there, which is really helpful. So for example, if you're thinking, if I hide something, I'm never going to pull it up again, I'm going to forget that it's there. That's reasonable. Maybe you do something like this. I want my effects to be first, then instruments. I'll put loops and cloud over here. And maybe this is the pool. I'll put the pool closer. And then maybe files here. Then Splice, then Moises, then loops, then cloud. Now, when I collapse that down, I'll still see the ones that are most pertinent to me. And I can still use my key commands for effects and instruments. I've just changed the order here. which is kind of fun. There's a couple other customizations I want to show you just in case you didn't know. When I first started doing regular videos with PreSonus, now Fender, there were so many things I didn't know about the software. I learned a lot of those from Gregor. So you may be in the same boat. You know how to do a handful of things, but we do these videos to really make sure that you know about all the cool things that are available, which means some of the videos I'm going to show you a feature that's been around for years, because you might not have heard of it. If you have, great, this wasn't for you. But if you haven't, that might be a big unlock for you. It might save you a lot of time and frustration and things like that. So you noticed when I right-clicked in that browser, it gave me the customize option. Well, you can right-click anywhere in like this menu up here to pull up that customize button. So if I click customize, it pulls up this same window. And I can, a couple of cool things. First of all, I can just choose from a preset. So I could go to, let's say, minimal, and it goes ahead and chooses a few options for me, or I can come through and I can say, I don't use this, I don't need this button, I don't need this button. All the things maybe you don't know what it does or you would never use, you can get rid of all of them, or as many as you want, and it allows you to have a much like smoother, simpler experience. So here's like default, here's complete. You'll just notice there's such a lot more buttons available on the screen, specifically up here in the top and down here at the bottom. And then if I go for like super minimal, you'll notice it just simplifies it down. So in a very real sense, we're making it a simpler version of the software, but we're not really removing anything. And of course, you can save if you have a perfectly designed way that you love, then you can keep that and let that be your default from there. So there's several options here. You can get pretty crazy with this. It also applies to the inspector. So if we press F4, I did a video on this recently. Over here on the left-hand side, we can choose what shows up there. So if there are certain parameters you never, ever, ever touch, might be worth getting rid of them, so then it's just not there and it's less visual clutter for you. I'm not saying that the platform itself is cluttered. I'm just saying if there's stuff you don't use, makes sense to move it out of the way. So it just gives you like a cleaner view. Here's a couple other ways you can customize that you maybe didn't know. Let me show you first EQ. So if I add EQ to say this drum bus, the default setting that shows up here, you can customize even what your default preset is in case you didn't know. So for example, I have some very specific frequencies that I like to use for lows, low mids, mids, high mids, and highs. Yours might not be whatever the default were that came with this. So for me, like for example, I like the low mid to be like 150 or 200. I think the default is a little bit higher or lower, I can't remember. But you can set all of these exactly where you want. Then once you've got these all set like you want, and you've got the specific spectrum here, so you have a bunch of options here. I like third octave for the most part. Then we can come up here and we can click store preset, or we can click store as default preset. And it says, are you sure you want to do that? And I say, sure. Now, whenever I load up Pro EQ, and you can do this for all your plugins, by the way, it will load up with those specific settings that I like. Same thing with, let's say, compressor. If you always find yourself switching this out to, let's say, 50 and 50 attack and release, because that's kind of where you like to start, or whatever. Maybe this is 5 and this is 20. What if you find yourself always moving that? Well, might as well let that be the default setting and have all of these closer to where you want them to be rather than always changing them. I do this also with fat channel. There's, depending on how you have it set up, you may like one particular compressor here and a different EQ. This is the one I like to start with, but if I always wanted it to start with the tube compressor, I could save this, again, same thing, just store as default preset. So every time I load fat channel, this would be loaded up. You can even set it to, this one I have it set to this button, and this button pressed, because those are the ones that I tend to use the most, and we can have all that save as the default preset. And by the way, that all saves inside your default folder. If you come to your preferences and come to the locations setting, this is where you choose where those get saved. It defaults to just putting it into a normal folder inside your documents folder on your computer, or you can choose, I've got this set to an external hard drive, so when I switch to my laptop to go do a presentation somewhere, all of those settings are saved there as well. But this just, it saves all your presets, your templates, and even your songs in that folder, and so you can access those everywhere. Another really cool setting I want to show you, speaking of EQ, I've mentioned this before, but it's worth mentioning again. You can use the macro organizer, which looks like this little button here, to create the ability, actually that's just the macro toolbar, but if we come over here, under Menu and we go to Macro Organizer, we can actually create macros that allow us to add plugins with a key command. I think I did a video on this recently, but in case you missed it, I'm on this channel. If I press Control 1 on my computer, it adds EQ. Control 2 adds compressor. Control 3 adds fat channel. Control 4, nothing. Okay, but those are the 3 that I have set up. And you can set that up however you want as well. That's what, let me show you exactly what to do. You can screenshot this and go make a copy of this on your system and customize it to your liking. Let me open up the macro organizer. I'm going to type in my initials. There we go. So here's the one that adds Pro EQ. I'm going to zoom in on this and you can take a screenshot. This is exactly how you would set it up. You add the track, add inserts on to selected channels, and then you double click on that and it lets you choose what plugin and even what preset if you want, or just if you leave it alone, it's the default preset. Then the next thing you have to add is this show channel editor. That just means add the plugin, which is one thing, and then show the plugin, which is the second thing. So we just say do this and we add a state of 1. So 1 means on, 0 means off, binary. And then that will pop up. And then all we have to do is make a key command for this, which once we've added this, we come back over here. You can see my key command is Control +1, the shortcut. And we can make that to whatever you want. I found Control plus a lot of things is not normally used on a Mac system. Yours might be Alt or maybe the Windows key on the Windows. Command on the Mac and Control on the PC typically are spoken for in a lot of things, but I found there's a lot of freedom there. So I use Control for a lot of these types of things, and it works really well. The other piece, speaking of keyboard shortcuts that you might not know, this is especially useful if you are switching from another platform and you were really good, let's say, at using Pro Tools or Cubase and you were very fast. You're sold on Studio Pro, but you're used to your old key commands. In case you didn't know, if you open the keyboard shortcuts menu, which is where you can come change any shortcut for any command available to you in Studio Pro. That's not what I want to show you. Down here is where the magic is. The keyboard mapping scheme, in case you didn't know, or you have a friend who's getting into Studio Pro and they're coming from another platform. This is magical because it allows us to choose what key commands we want to emulate. So if you're used to Pro Tools and you're used to switching to your edit window by pressing Command equals, I still remember that, it will make that into the key command that switches to your mix window in Studio Pro. Not every single command will port over because of their different software, but this, I've had countless people tell me when I show them this, and this has been around for a decade or more. This is not a new feature, but it is so, so helpful, if even just for a temporary season of time, of getting to learn how to use the software without having to memorize new key commands as well. For me, I started off with this one, and I quickly switched back just because I wanted to use the software as it was designed to be used, because a lot of the keyboard shortcuts were actually more intuitive and like less key clicks. It was like just the letter D instead of like Command D, things like that. But when you're starting out and you're just trying to make it as effortless as possible, this is a big help. And as always, don't spend the next week of your life customizing your Studio Pro setup. Give yourself 15 minutes to get it looking nice and clean and then get back to making music. My name's Joe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.